Yeah.
What the heck?
Information services, so they.
That's like, yeah, she's.
Okay, Council, you,
Oh, yeah.
are.
Yeah, that would be.
We went the day after.
I can remember being on here,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, if you.
That was in-
GIS.
Okay.
We're live, so you know.
Oh, okay.
that was just.
I forgot to look that. But I've seen.
That was a couple of ago, we went out down to the other
Talking about visiting Washington DC.
Yeah, we took one down past Pat Harvey's place. to do the tunnel city.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock. We'll call the basic, we Washington City Council order. Please rise and moment of silence followed by pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Alexander. Here. Councilmember Brandon.
Here.
Councilmember Brinker. Councilmember Conklin.
Here.
Councilmember Missouri. Here. Councilmember Stevenson.
Here.
Mayor Long.
Here. Approval of the minutes of the April 15th regular meeting.
I move approval. I second.
Motion for a second. Any further discussion, questions, comments? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Alexander. Yep. Councilmember Brandon.
Yes.
Councilmember Conklin.
Yeah.
Councilmember Missouri. Yes. Councilmember Stevenson.
Yeah.
Mayor Long.
Yes. Public comments from residents and city taxpayers.
Yep, so I'm Brady Carnahan from 222 Mackey Avenue. I was just stopping in to see if there was any sort of update. I saw guys in Castaneda checking things out. I wasn't sure if there was any sort of update or if that was going to be discussed tonight with the water situation.
That, the response to Castanea Township is in this evening's council packet. The city crews for about 2 weeks listened for leaks at 14 West Keller, 221 Mackey, 222 Mackey, 103 Brown Street. On that particular stretch, the city doesn't have a water main to leak. So what we did instead was listen to leaks on the 2 adjoining streets and listened at 14, 117, 121, 130 West Keller. No leaks were detected. However, there was a very large discharge from the sump pump that's located at 121 West Keller that then is going down the street. On Mackey, leak detection was performed at 221, 222, 224 with no leaks detected. And again, there are no adjoining water mains on that block. So we listened to the laterals themselves as well. And that was done with both day listening and deploying overnight loggers. So we did not find any leaks in the city system for multiple days of listening to each of those locations.
I will tell you though,
Yeah.
after we found out that that was what was going on, I happened to have to be in Castanea and drove by and the water coming out of the driveway over there.
Yeah.
The person who talked about having the very wet
Yeah.
yard, it's no wonder.
Yeah.
So there's a sump pump there and you might want to address that with the town.
Sure, and can I have that address again, by chance? That the sump pump
This is sump pump,
Yeah.
a large discharge from sump pump at 121 West Keller.
Okay.
Now, there could be other sump pumps, but we didn't see those. We just noticed that one does discharges directly into the street.
Wow, thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? Okay. Unfinished business, number 5A, consideration of 2024 allocations for local nonprofits.
So this is an amount that's put in the budget last year. Council did not make a final decision on the amount of the gift request from the Ross Library, downtown Lock Haven, SPCA, Roads to Peace, Historical Society, Arts Council. And the money was placed as a placeholder into last year's budget. with an overage amount in case council did want to approve the higher amounts requested. So this is put in front of you this evening to make your final determination on the amount of the donations, which usually are sent in May of each year.
Greg, can you talk a little bit about the insurance cost for the library and for the Arts Council? Both of those insurance bills seem to have gone.
They did both go up significantly. A lot of that has to do with the property market itself. Also, the Ross libraries went up significantly because the books inside the library are insured by the city, and that had not been updated literally in decades. So, the book schedule was updated. The insurance company provides an actual document that the librarian herself completes, and that goes back in. So that significant expense does have an effect on the property costs. The insurance, because the buildings themselves are owned by the city, both the Arts Council building is owned by the city and the library. The city does pay particular insurances for the Ross Library. The city also pays the auto insurance, but because of our auto rate staying relatively stable, and the number of high-priced vehicles the city has compared to the Ross Library, I think the Ross Library's auto insurance for a year is about $20. So that's really minimal. The real cost comes from the property. The library has its own insurance then in addition, and so does the Arts Council. But those are for interior products they would cover themselves, and also errors and omissions, official functions.
If my insurance jumped that much, I'd be right on the phone to the insurance carrier to say, what's the big difference this year, especially even like the Arts Council, it's more than double. So,
Yeah, it's kind of a double whammy for us. So the city had an appraisal done by the insurance company in 2023. And of course, that means that the value of everything went up. But at the same time, the property market for the city jumped. And for Penn Prime Insurance Trust, it only went up about 21%. But you see people in the market that are being well over double as an increase. And that is because of the number of natural disasters happening in the property market, the number of tornadoes, the number of floods, which you can almost daily hear about numerous examples of all of those. But all of the people in the United States who have insurance pay for those tremendous acts of God collectively through their insurance premiums. That insurance is in the budget as well. Those come in separate line items.
Does the SPCA have a dog officer?
The SPCA does not have a dog officer any longer. Several years ago, the city gave $5,000 a year to the SPCA for the catch and release program, which their letter does detail that they still do that. The city increased that to $5,000 when they had the dog officer. It's not the dog warden, but it was who the city would call on from the SPCA to come and address issues. But that individual was not replaced when they left. And so right now there's.
My understanding, they haven't worked there for like a year and a half.
That's correct.
So last year, we paid them $5,000 for a dog officer that we have access to.
I wasn't made aware that they did not have.
No, I'm not putting that on you, I'm putting that on them.
so we use the state paid guy out of Center County and Clinton Sheriff. Used to be Potter, we had better service, or as good a service then, as we do Center.
Yeah, the SPCA dog officer would come and intervene much more quickly and then be the person who would be the contact with the warden from Center County, used to be Potter.
I move the donation request minus the dog officer to the SPCA until such time that we can revisit that if they come up with another person. Because we know we have dog cat problem in the city, and if they can come up with anything to help us and our residents out, I think we should do that, but I don't want to spend the money until for nothing.
I agree. Do I have a second?
Steve,
Oh.
are you motioning the budgeted amounts or the gift request amounts?
They're both the same.
Except library and historical society.
No, it would be the $5,000 for that line item that says.
Oh, Jeff. Okay,
But are you,
But you-
is your motion budgeted or what the people have requested? Because the
Because it's
requests are
different on a
different.
couple of. It's different for the
I'm
library.
going with budgeted.
Okay, his motion is for the budgeted amount minus the 5,000 that was put there for the dog officer.
okay.
So I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? You were starting to speak, did you want to?
No, didn't somebody else second it?
No, no one else was starting to, and she asked a
I
question.
will second.
We have a second on the floor. Any further discussion? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Alexander,
Yes.
Councilmember Brandon,
Yes,
Councilmember Conklin,
Yes.
Councilmember Missouri,
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson,
Yes.
Mayor Long.
Yes. Any other unfinished business, Craig?
None, Your Honor.
Okay, 6A, new business, consideration of resolution number 2024-18.
This is, I think the fourth year that this request is being made to close that portion of Sarah's Alley, which is not permitted to be driven on by vehicles that's adjacent to, Stella A's. And, we closed that portion until July 31st, 2024. And, Stella A's is making that request so that it can be accessible as restaurant use and private seating and dining.
Do I have a motion for the resolution?
I'm going to request.
Yeah, I'll second.
Motion floor and a second. Any further discussion?
Question. Did they apply for the cafe license
Yes.
thing? So
Yeah.
they've done that. Okay.
Any other questions? Comments? Call for the vote.
Councilmember Alexander,
Yes.
Councilmember Brandon,
yes,
Councilmember Conklin,
Yes.
Councilmember Missouri,
Yes.
Councilmember Stevenson, Mayor Long.
Yes. 6B, update on the new overtime rules.
This is just for council's information. As I prepared the 2025 budget, the overtime rules for the United States Department of Labor final ruling does set new amounts for annual compensation of what are often called white collar workers, which are exempt from overtime because they are paid a wage that is at or higher a particular amount ruled by them. So this year, that doesn't have an impact on the city, but it will have an impact with a couple of employees. Beginning July 1st, 2025, the overtime annual compensation rate increases to a rate higher than what 3 employees are paid. So traditionally, those employees don't have overtime lines in their department. So just a heads up that if you see them, there's a reason why there are.
Any other new business?
I did not, but I had 2 updates for you that do not require action, but
I'm sorry, I apologize. Can we go back to that?
yes,
The overtime. The final rule increases will go into effect July 1st, 2024. But you said beginning July 1st, 2025.
so 2024, that new ruling won't have an impact on us because all the employees that we consider white collar are compensated at that one.
All right.
It jumps again in 25.
Okay.
Actually, pretty
Jumps another
significant.
$15,000.
Yeah,
Anything else?
That's a lot.
Right.
no, that was it. I'm sorry. I just, that just caught my eye.
Want to give you the time. Okay, so you have a couple other.
Yes, the water meters were traditionally tested in the basement of City Hall, but the sump pump in the basement of City Hall doesn't actually tie into anything. It just goes out into the ground outside. So when that sump pump runs, then the water comes back in through the wall into the parking department office. So now that that's been discovered, we are moving the water meter testing station up to the Public Works garage. When making that move, to the Second Avenue garage, the water crew discovered that there is a leak in a pipe up at the Second Avenue garage. Unfortunately, there's no way to isolate that leak. So the water had to be turned off to the entire building. And since then, porta-johns have been in place and they have hand wash station at the garage. Unfortunately, the leaking pipe is wrapped in asbestos and a permit for removal was filed with DEP, which has a wait period. That wait period expires this week. And so on Wednesday, May 8th, which is the first possible moment, we will have a crew coming on site to do legal remediation at 7:30 in the morning. The remediation on just that section of pipe is expected to be completed that same day. After that's done, the city's crew can make repairs to the leaking pipe and get the water turned on again at the facility. Second, yesterday was quite the exciting day at the wastewater treatment plant. As an employee for the wastewater treatment plant, was scheduled to come in and change composite samplers because the intention yesterday was to send out the effluent for wet testing, which is whole effluent toxicity testing. So as the employee arrived, it was coordinated, as it turns out, with a very surprised squirrel that subsequently blew one of the fuses for the phases coming into the plant. That is not the first time this has happened, and it did not go well for the squirrel nor for the plant. The plant ran off the generator for 12 hours until Waldman's electrical crew helped with the fuses. It is important to note, no one had the fuses on hand, including them. We did not have any extras on hand ourselves. Because of connections that city employees have with other organizations, the city was able to secure the needed fuse from the Clinton County Housing Authority, of all places, which had an extra one, thank God. So a big shout out to not only the Housing Authority for lending us their fuse so we could get the power back on, which of course we will be replacing theirs, but to the Superintendent Dave Sorgan, as well as Ben and Hank from his team, who worked 14-hour days, and a thank you to the Property Maintenance Officer, Caleb, who used to work down at the plant and is now the property maintenance officer. He went in and used his expertise from having been there before to get things online and operating again. So, big thank you to all the people that were involved in that. And none of us knew anything about it because that's their job and they took care of it. So, big shout out to all of them.
Yes.
Great job.
Absolutely.
Well, if we're shouting out, the first walk with the council person, we only had one person come to the walk, but it was, I can't remember her name.
Joanne Bowes.
It was Joanne Bowes, and we had a wonderful walk, and she told us all about the flowers and stuff downtown, and it was really, really nice. It was myself, Jeff Brinker, and Tammy. And we had a really nice walk around town. It was very enjoyable. So Casey, thank you very much. We have the next one scheduled for the 18th of May.
Yeah.
We'll meet here at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning. That was great. The other thing was the downtown cleanup.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun, and you did a great job getting that put together as well. It was really nice, and I have to say, people of downtown Lockhaven do a fine job keeping this stuff clean. There was not a lot of trash in town, so it was really nice. So well done, Casey. Thank you.
Thanks for participating.
You can still from time to time see Art Sanders actually sweeping his sidewalks, so, which used to be a daily thing, as he'll tell you.
I thought maybe next year we should do it in neighborhoods, like have kind of a competition, and get the neighborhoods involved.
And the garden club does do a phenomenal job.
They do
Oh,
a fantastic
do.
job, and they
Right.
really want volunteers. They really want people to help, to maintain, to plant, to deal with all the stuff they've got going on. I don't know if you realize, but that's an aging group of people, and it's challenging. So they really are looking, if you have an interest in that kind of gardening, they really want people to participate.
Only so many Lock Haven wrestlers from the university they can strong arm, and they're not here all year.
Anything else? Anyone? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I motion.
Very adjourned, thank you.